Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Ken Bozak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Ken Bozak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Ken bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. We're 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 gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get your Ken Bozak.
Oh shit.
We're live.
Hey, we made it.
How goes it, bros? Thanks everybody for tuning in. Scott, as always. What up, Blue? How goes it?
It's going awesome.
So today I got my co-host decided to show up today. So Nathan's here.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking at Digicon. I was live. I was doing a thing. My bad.
No, I totally get it, bro. I'm just busting balls, man. So yeah, we're an hour late today to try to accommodate for Nathan and Digicon or whatever the fuck it's called. And we have Luke from FIO here. We're gonna jump into that right away, man. Luke, how goes it, bro? You've been on before. If you guys want to tune into that, just go Not Another Bitcoin Podcast. FIO should pop right up. How you been?
I've been awesome, man. Been really busy. We were just talking earlier, like it's weird having like a team, you know, having people, you know, it's so easy to just do your own thing. Be like, I got ideas. I'm going to do my own thing. And then when you have like a team of people, it's like, wow, I got responsibilities. I've got, you know, people relying on me. And it's exciting to have a DAC and DAO with what we're doing with FIO, but it's also interesting how everybody in crypto needs a leader. And it's an interesting thing when they look to you as that leader. It's like, wait, what? How did that happen?
Right. How did we get this far without Satoshi, though?
Exactly, right? And enough people still, but then you look at like who are all the name brands that you think of as far as core developers and stuff. It's like, what's this guy doing in Bitcoin? What's this guy doing in Bitcoin?
Yeah.
But it is interesting. It's like we're all trying to copy that example, right? Where it just runs on its own.
Yo, Nathan,
everyone wants to be Steve Jobs.
Yo, facts. Nobody wants to be Wozniak. That shit was too much work. I watched that movie. That dude didn't look like he had any fun.
I know. He just looked like he hated everything.
I met Wozniak. He still looks bitter.
Dude, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of those are bitter about everything right now just because they didn't get into
that audio quality just got 10x'd.
Was it way better?
Way better.
It's good.
All right, thank you. I was like sitting here worried, like, oh my God. Not only was I late, but now I just suck completely.
Well, a good thing this is a shit show. Yo, dude, you even know what FIO is, Nathan?
No, I was actually going to ask because I've heard people talking about it and I just haven't had time to dive into it.
Yeah, so a one sentence explainer is send Bitcoin to Ken at Bozak.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do.
That's what FIO is. Just send Bitcoin to Ken at Bozak. But Luke, let him know a little bit about it. I'm sure Nathan has a few questions because it is pretty new to him.
Yeah, no,
definitely.
thanks, man. I appreciate being on the show again. I so respect all the stuff you do. Like, I was thinking about you the other day, how you've been so early on so many things, NFTs, crypto, all these things. And it's just super cool to see, like, you know, what you've been doing become, and everyone's like, oh, here's that guy that's been doing it forever. But yeah, FIO, Foundation for Interworld Operability, the FIO protocol. We're just basically trying to make crypto easier for everybody. So like a PayPal, Venmo type experience. It is an NFT as well, like your FIO address. I've got Luke at Stokes. But it's not just wallet naming. It also has, it's like a whole usability layer. You have the ability to do a FIO request. So I can do a decentralized, encrypted, peer-to-peer payment request to you for any token, any chain, any token or chain that will ever exist and everyone that has exist, because it doesn't integrate with the existing blockchain. It's actually a wallet layer solution. So you go and you talk to the blockchain and say, hey, I want to, you know, send Bitcoin to someone, and it's, or I'm going to request Bitcoin at Luke Stokes. And so that FIO request goes to their wallet. It's encrypted with a shared key between the two people. They decrypt it and say, okay, yeah, that's Luke at Stokes. I know who that is. That's the request I expected. And then the other key part is you can put data in that send or that request. You can have metadata, like a memo, or link out to like an order card or whatever. And it works again across everything. So any wallet that's integrated with the FIO protocol has this functionality for any token that they support. So we're big friends of Edge Wallet. They've got great support for FIO, including Shapeshift, Infinito, Mycelium, Koinomi, Infinito, so many great wallets. We've got over a dozen, I think it's like 14, 15 different wallets and exchanges. And I really think it's just required. Like, crypto's too damn hard to use. These long, crazy public addresses. You don't have this useful experience. You're freaking out checking characters, or you have like
public key looks exactly like your private key.
Yeah, like, did we learn nothing from our cell phones? Like, we're programming a name to every number for a reason. So like, yeah, it's about time.
I mean, I literally, so I've been in this space.
I love what you're doing, dude. Like, when you're talking about this, I'm going, oh, finally, you know?
No, this has been around for a hot minute now, man. I love FIO.
See, I need to educate myself a little bit more.
The request part's probably my favorite, because I've like, you know, instead of just DMing somebody my address and saying, hey, remember you owe me this or whatever, it's just like, you can, oh shit, Nathan, I owe you money still for like the longest
I wasn't even going to say it.
Well, no, you have to send me a FIO request. Just request the Bitcoin from Ken at Bozak with your FIO name, and I'll know that it's you requesting the money from me, and I'll see that notification. And that's what I love about FIO the most, is we've always been able to send, but I've never been able to request until now.
Yeah, that's so cool, dude. It's Cash App for crypto.
It's just, we just got to make it simple, because I was looking at this. I actually did a little presentation, like an internal memo for my team recently. And it was like, you look at the adoption of the internet, like 10 years, and then HTTP comes out, you get this skyrocketed, usability layer for the World Wide Web and web browser. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I get it. I get internet. I can understand it now. I think crypto's in the same place, 10 plus years. And then with this usability layer with FIO protocol, and now it's like, oh, I get it. I have friends of mine, they've been listening to me for over 8 years in crypto, and they're like, not getting it. And then all of a sudden they sign up and they get their wallet handle, they get their FIO address, and they're like, oh, I get it now. Now I signed up to crypto. Now I'm on crypto. And I send them some crypto, and I'll send them like a 50-cent payment request so they can understand how the request works. And to me, it's like, this is what we need. Dude,
this is what gets your dad, your mom, your grandma.
Yeah, what FIO did was basically did what Google did for Gmail and email, right? Like, you know how hard it was to send an email to somebody when the internet first came out? That shit was, you had to be a really tech-savvy coder to just send an email. Like, it was like a half-hour process, making sure every character looked, and then you could send somebody a message, and it probably didn't get there because there wasn't facilitators. And then we had things that gave those wildly long character emails simple addresses like kenbozak@gmail. And that's what FIO has done for those stupid character address receiving addresses for all these cryptos. It's just Ken@Bozak. And nobody should not have this. Everybody that's using crypto needs to have a FIO account. Everybody.
I love.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one right after this.
You've been helping so much, like, spread the word. I super appreciate it. What's interesting to me is just this past week, it was just like, not this weekend, but the weekend before, I put it on my blog. I screwed up $1,100 mistake. And I've been in crypto for a long time. I have a technical background. I've never made a mistake like this. And what happened was I was sitting there and I was like, all right, I got to quickly move some funds around. And I'm on an exchange. I won't mention which one. And I'm like trying to withdraw some funds, and I'm getting no error message at all. It's just not working. The screen just goes away. I'm like, what the hell? I try it 2 or 3 times. I'm like, well, okay, I'm not using a BEC32 SegWit because I know they don't support that. I'm using a SegWit. Let me try a normal Bitcoin address. Still doesn't work. I'm like, what the frick? And I go through the logs and I see, okay, it's giving me this weird error. I'm like, oh, I forgot that you have to whitelist an address. So I whitelist the Bitcoin address and I just, really quickly go back to my whitelist, copy the top one, because clearly the top one is the one I just mapped, I'm sure. And I go and I do the withdrawal. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, where the hell is my Bitcoin? Like, it should be here by now, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the frick? And I go back and it's like, yeah, withdrawal successful, totally done. And I go and I pull up on the Block Explorer and it's like some freaking exchange account. I'm looking at this address. I'm like, and everything else is filtered out except mine's like sitting there. I'm like, what the frick, right? And I look at it, I'm like, oh, fuck. That's an address I used in 2017. Oh. And I'm like, why the hell would I have withdrawn to an address that I don't own? So I went back to my spreadsheet because I track everything. If you have crypto, you are your own bank. You got to track everything. So I'm going through my spreadsheet. I'm looking through the dates. Okay, 2017, this day, and there's no entry. I'm like, what the frick? And then later I learned that, I ended up going through my email. I still have my email from 2017. I went through and I found out what it was. It was some guy I was helping and I converted some stuff for him and I sent it to his Gemini account, I think it was, but I sent it to his crypto account. So I fire off an email going, yeah, no way, years later, like he probably didn't even remember who I am. And amazing, like incredible humans in crypto. He sent me the funds back. It was amazing. Like there's no way I'm ever going to get this funds back. He sent it right away. Incredible. Like hours. It was incredible. But I was sitting there going, if this particular exchange supported the Theo Crest with the withdrawal experience, this never would have happened.
Never.
Not even close.
Come to Luke at Stokes and say, hey, I want to withdraw. This is the amount. Boom, done. So like, I'm going to give a shout out to Whitebit, to Liquid Global, to, let's see who else I'm forgetting. We got Whitebit, and BitMax. Those are the first three exchanges that have integrated the Theo experience. Also, Change Now, and then there's another one coming as well anyway, so it's like
Change Now is better than everything you mentioned earlier. Just saying. I fucking love Change Now.
It's awesome. I mean,
we love you too, Ken.
We need those simple, like in and out. And I love that you could do a Change Now. You can do a full Theo experience. You could sit there and say, hey, here's my Theo address where I want you to send it to. And then like, all right, cool. We just sent you a Theo request. Go to your wallet. Yep, there it is. You approve it. Boom, done.
Yeah, the ease of use has to be there, or else there's like no incentive for a lot of people to come over here,
and the crazy part is
it can't be harder than using your bank,
I mean, but the crazy part is I think they're coming no matter what. And this is like I mentioned earlier, this little internal memo I did for the team. It was like looking at this exponential growth of adoption of the internet, and then you map it over the Bitcoin adoption. And it's like the same damn thing, but it's actually faster. It took about 7.5 years from where we're at now to get to 1 billion users on the internet. And the graph, if they look at it, it's like it's going to be about 4 years. So we're literally like 3 to 4 years out from 1 billion people. If this math is right, if this, the law of diffusion of innovation, if all this stuff is correct.
Exponential adoption growth is happening. Yeah,
it totally is. It seems like it is.
I've been watching it for 10 years. And the crazy part is it's like, because we don't have patterns in our brain to recognize exponential growth in nature, so many people are not ready. They don't even understand how quickly
we've seen more adoption and growth in the past 12 months than we've seen in the past decade.
Yeah.
And that's going to continue. So when
adoption and growth are keeping up with inflation, which is good because we're actually going to keep some of our money because of it.
The crazy thing for me is that the people in the crypto space today, all the wallets, all the exchanges, everyone who's gotten an address today, they're almost mathematically irrelevant compared to who's coming in just a few short years.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, thinking again, like we've heard the mainstream talk about that, the .com bubble and all that, and yeah, a lot of these platforms and exchanges, I don't care how much legacy you have, you're going to become obsolete because you're not innovating. You're just so stagnant. And I love OpenSea with all my heart, but bro, you guys really need to do something. Like, I'm sick of seeing the same OpenSea I've seen 5 years ago today. Makes no sense. Innovate or die. And we're going to see a lot of, exchanges, marketplaces, and they're going to use things probably like Theo and become better than you because I'm going to accidentally send Bitcoin because you don't have the Theo withdrawal. Like, that's going to be why you're going to lose users, by not innovating, not moving forward, and being complacent. Everyone's so content in crypto because they were early. Well, you're going to be left in the history books instead of in the current relevancy that is the future of mainstream adoption.
And if you combine lose users equals losers. So, absolutely. That's what somebody said that the other day in this industry I was talking to.
You're gonna have companies come in with 100 million people, and all of a sudden people are like, "Whoa, what happened?" And it's like that will be the crypto community because they'll just onboard 100 million people, and they'll be like, "What? We're a professional business. We've been doing this."
Oh yeah, look at Clubhouse. Look at Clubhouse. It's almost like crypto Twitter isn't a thing because Clubhouse is the new crypto Twitter, right?
Dude, it's crazy. Like some of the NFT rooms in there are like people don't even really know about NFTs, and they're hosting these rooms with thousands of people.
I've seen the same thing with the ICO boom. They had no clue what crypto or blockchain was, but they'll show you how to buy an ICO and how to invest in an ICO. And it's the same NFT ICO salesman Ty Lopez bullshit. I'm not even interested, bro. I've been in NFTs for 5 years. Welcome to my fucking domain now.
Dude, I just got into this not too long ago, and I've been hopping on stage in those rooms going, that's not true. So I don't know, dude. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't have the time to babysit Clubhouse. I refuse to join unless they're going to pay me $200 an hour to moderate how stupid they all sound. I have little fucks to give.
They really should.
My Telegram.
I've been on there a couple of times, and like my team is always like, you should be on, Clubhouse. We could do some really good things, and we'll probably do some rooms just to spread the word about FIO and stuff. But I think one of the fun times I had was CZ was doing a talk, and it popped up. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll jump in and see. And then he brought me on stage, and I was like, oh, that's neat, because for whatever reason, I helped him with understanding the whole Steam Hive thing. So he ended up following me on Twitter, and then he followed me on Clubhouse, and we had this great conversation. And it was like 1,900 people there. And he was having, just going through, answering people's questions. I just waited my turn, and then it popped up, and he's like, oh, Luke, yeah. And he started hyping FIO, because Binance Labs was involved early on. And it was like, holy moly, that was probably the most important thing I did today. It was like a conference, looking at my phone and jumping online and chatting with CZ about FIO, And so it got me to realize, like, okay, this platform is powerful. It's important. But it's like, I'm not going to sit there all day long.
They're not using any. But it's no different than Twitter. He could have just done a Periscope live stream and brought you on through Periscope like I'm using it right now. I think they're all in Clubhouse because they're early investors. Most of them probably created Clubhouse. I'm not going to go make rich people richer by joining whales secondary sidekick platforms. Clubhouse is no different than any other platform I've seen. There's nothing innovative. There's nothing.
Well, I think it has something interesting in that.
It has a velvet rope feel. That's all, and I don't need that.
But what he said there is like the connecting. Like
you can use any social media platform to connect. The only reason they're doing this on Clubhouse is to fucking get everybody to their new little thing. Like I don't know.
It's so early on though that even though it does suck in that sense, like you do actually have some chance to connect. Like I've been meeting at 4 with this like Hollywood director. Like there's no reason I should know this guy, but he heard me on Clubhouse. Like just because it's early, like I got a chance to be a speaker. So I'm saying for somebody like me, it's an advantage. But
I could murder it in there. I would fucking.
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing. You could have like 5,000 people in there. Like
I don't
know in a week.
If there was 5,000 people watching this right now, I'd end the live stream and we would just talk off the air.
That's the thing. That's the problem though. Is like. There's this disconnect between like what they want to do and what you want to do, and they're trying to push a specific thing with their brand.
That's
like
problem,
really not.
Though. That's
and that's what I'm saying. That's the aspect of it that I don't like. It's sold as this like, hey, have this free conversation in your own environment. It's really not like that right now, but it's good for making connections at this moment for sure. At least on like a surface level.
At least, the least is, at least people are getting interested in NFTs and they have somewhere to go and talk to people. That's cool.
There's so much fun though in those rooms.
It's just that, like you mentioned earlier, it's the blind leading the blind in Clubhouse, and I have no fucks to give about getting in that conga line. I have no interest in that. The blind leading the blind can stay in Clubhouse.
Crazy.
It's
crazy, man.
They could do whatever they want. I'm not going to hate on it. I'm just going to not use it.
There's this group that I'm not going to mention, but I get invited a lot, and I don't go because they're going to put me on the spot in a room where they've already set the stage in a way where it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So like I would have to just deconstruct everything that they just built 100%. To like start it over the right way. So like those ones I avoid.
If I join anybody's Clubhouse, I'm going to 10x the value of it, and I'm not getting anything out of it. So what's the point?
You're the CEO
right now
of
you're
NFTs.
creating your content. Right? Like this is something you record, you get to control, you get to do what you want with it. If you want to take this and download it and throw it on a decentralized network, put it up on IPFS, like whatever you want to do with it, you own that. But I don't have a way to, like there were people on my team going, oh, did you record that? That conversation with CZ was so great. And I was like, I can't. It's not part of the platform. It's not my content. It's their content.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah, we're live on 12 different platforms right now. So we're live on 12 different platforms right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're on.
It's
Float,
almost like they
Vim,
convince
D-Live, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, fucking I don't know. I clicked on every option. We're on fucking LinkedIn right now, live. Like,
I think it's mainly for people that are afraid to talk on camera. It seems like
that's
it's like
me.
kind
I
of
hate it. I
handicapped it a
terrifyingly
little
hate
bit.
this shit. I do not like live streaming.
Dude, I don't mind. Like, I was gonna try to be a pro fighter. Like, my job was gonna be to go get my ass kicked in front of everybody.
I tolerate
learned early,
the
like,
stage thing. Like, I tolerate having an audience. So people like Luke, that's really busy doing amazing things, has a reason to take a time out of his day to talk to me. So I have to make it worth his while to do this.
No, I see. For me, it's like,
and this is amazing, by the way. This project, I do want to reiterate that.
I have these great conversations with people like yourself that are innovators. That people are like, and I told you this earlier. Like, not everybody appreciates what you've been like sowing year after year after year. You know, like you said, NFTs for 5 years, early
like
doing
2018 or something. He was talking about this. 2017.
You've been pushing this stuff for a long time, and now people are catching up to be like, oh wait, what? And they're listening, and it's like you've built that credibility over a long period of time. So I love having awesome conversations with really cool people doing really cool stuff. I was listening to your show earlier today. I was like watching a movie, and I was literally like listening with my phone like this, because I'm like, you were saying all this cool stuff about how you could literally, you know, poison someone's Ethereum account by sending them a virus NFT. You could send them like, you know, all these risky pictures. You could like all these things you were thinking about. You're like already ahead of the game because you've been marinating in it for so long.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I want to have awesome conversations with interesting people, and it's like. But it's selfish if it just benefits me. And I think you feel the same way. It's like, we're going to have cool conversations. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the first time we had a conversation was one of my favorite NFT combos was with you, because we got to speculate, and it was before the NFT boom. So this was like months ago. This was last year we were talking. And the first thing I wanted to use FIO for was Ken at NFT.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to have an NFT FIO username for my NFT addresses, and I don't know, man. This is so like perfect timing for what you have built and what the end users have been having to tolerate as a user experience with all these long string characters, and now they could finally, you know, go along those lines of saying, oh, send me that crypto kitty to Ken at NFT. Or even Ken at Bozak, or what. It's possible now thanks to what you're doing, man. So like, let's talk about a little bit about how NFTs and FIO go hand in hand now.
Beautiful.
If you wouldn't mind, if I could share my screen, I could actually show you something that our team,
fucking have to get
our
permission.
team made just like a couple days ago. And I was like, oh man, that's such a cool idea. And this is the main reason I wanted to chat with you, because I want to talk to like people actually doing NFTs. So I don't know if you can see this a little bit, but this is just, everything we do is, so we're a decentralized autonomous consortia. FIO protocol is like fully open. Everything we do is out there, and you guys can read about all of our ideas, you know, for this, that, and the other, DeFi, NFTs, whatever. So you can see this was done yesterday, just put together. And it's the idea that like, how do you know when you buy an NFT, you're just going through the store and you see, oh, there's a Ken Bozak NFT. That's badass. I want to buy that. How do you actually know that that's Ken's? How do you know it's not a knockoff?
Yeah,
right?
Counterfeit NFTs all day.
Oh, for sure, right? This is like so freaking ironic, because it's like, what's the entire point of a non-fungible token? Is it's cryptographically tied to a specific owner, right? It's supposed to be the most secure version of art ever, and it's actually not that, because there's no way to easily and quickly, you know, figure out who owns this. Is it really theirs or not? So we started thinking about, you know, how can the FIO protocol help with this? And we started thinking about, you could even do like, if you were a specific art gallery, you could say, hey, you know, we validate that this is a legit user, you know, kind of like the whitelisting that Wax Marketplace does at Atomic Hub, you know, and thinking about, you know, what features will we add to make it even easier? So you could actually connect potentially. We haven't built this out yet, this part of the protocol. And this is why I wanted to talk about it, get some feedback from actual NFT people to say, like, would this be useful to you? If I have Luke at Stokes, you have Ken at Bozak, whatever it might be, and you say, okay, if I could be able to query that and say, show me your NFTs, and I can be able to ask the protocol, it's decentralized network, is this a valid NFT that was created by Ken? And it's like, boom, yes or no, you know? And I actually
that can solve everything in this. Like, everybedy's so worried about that side of this, like all the counterfeits and how are these things to be regulated.
I'm waiting for the first person to buy a fake Beeple NFT for $50 million, because it will happen, and it will happen this year.
That's so crazy. And this can be that step that steps in and like makes it so regulators don't have to do all.
We already know this, bro. Unfortunately, these platforms will not innovate get or adopt or even consider FIO until they have that fucking problem. They just don't.
It's terrifying. They should
a lot of
integrate
these
now.
markets and platforms, they do not future proof. They just consistently do the shit they do until something doesn't work. And then if they're motivated enough by their end users, they'll innovate.
Yeah. We'll get there though. I mean, seriously, like with people like yourself and other people that get it, and they're already looking 10 steps down the road. And
the
really
platforms that are already innovating FIO, that's that fucking sign that they're on top of their shit. Whoever says, "Oh, we're working with FIO," that's a sign that they are on top of their shit. Everybody else is falling behind until moments like that occur.
Yeah, because this is where the puck's going.
This is why I've been a fan of Edge Wallet since 2015 when they were Airbits. I knew Edge Wallet would stay on top of their shit, bro. And as soon as they went from Airbits to Edge Wallet and rebranded everybody, blah, 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 I'm still a huge fan. And then I see Paul Puey innovating with FIO on fucking Edge Wallet, bro. And it's just sign after sign that those projects that I've seen years ago that I've like, they're going to keep at it. They've still kept doing it. And those signs that I see are things like innovating and adopting projects into their network like FIO. Everybody that wants to do anything all monopolized in-house, run now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty crazy that not everybody's trying to do this immediately.
Well, they are. They just want to steal his idea and do it themselves. That's what these. But they're going to do it
wrong. They're all going to screw it up. They're all going to screw it up. Like once I heard this, like he started telling us this, I was like, oh my god! Like this is that layer that actually could protect us from regulators in a way, you know.
Yeah, well, so we have another.
Make it so they're not necessary.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of KYC and all that stuff and travel and everything, but like, if they want to do that, they can. Like, somebody could actually say, "Here's my verified FIO address. It's Luke@Stokes." And again, just like you can have an unlimited number of Bitcoin addresses, I can have different FIO addresses that are completely random and anonymous and whatever I want to do with it. But the idea is I could say, I'm Luke@Stokes. You can verify me, Mr. Government Man, all you want if you need to. And then I can play in your little, world as I'm doing my own thing over here also. And the idea being, we don't need you with guns to come tell us how to treat each other with, dignity and respect and love. We can use cryptographic security. I can actually provably demonstrate that I am who I say I am, and then I can participate according to the rules that you set up. I love what you were saying earlier today on the show. It's like, OpenSea, that's their house. You don't come and crap in somebody's house. Like, they can do whatever they want in their house, and you can just go build another one if you want. So it's like, if the regulators are saying, hey, you need to do this and this, that, and the other, it's like, fine. If you want to use centralized exchanges, you got to do this, fine. We'll go do DeFi. We'll go do, we'll do other things in our world that don't require you. And by the way, you can't stop even if you wanted to. So you have to get to a place where you play nice with us because we're the future, right? And we're not going to fight you. We're just going to out-innovate you.
Well, that's what I hear when you say this. A lot of people are hearing ease of use. I'm hearing protection. So it's like, like there's a couple ways. And I think that's like the valuable thing that this brings is like you just said, it's saying like, look, we're doing this so that you don't have to go deeper. And why would you want to? It's going to cost you time and money. This is what you need. Move on. I appreciate that a lot.
We do need the protection as well. And like, I won't mention who, but someone in our community here recently had $5,000. It was just, again, the same weekend the thing happened to me. And it was, they gave someone their address to an exchange that doesn't support USDT. And they sent $5,000 of USDT. And I was just like, oh man, because a FIO address, you map it.
So hear me out. Ready? When this happens, technically that exchange just stole their money. There's no other wording for it, right? That is fucking theft. But these exchanges get to keep your money. And they're not going to just say, oh, that USDT, we don't know where it went. It went to their exchange Ethereum address. They have it, and they're just going to sell it and keep the money.
Well, hold on. So
but it's like if I send a box to your house though, and it goes to the wrong house, and they keep it, like, is it stealing because I accidentally sent it to them?
If I don't send it back,
I want to unpack this a little bit because I've actually talked to like Seth, the CEO of Liquid Global, and like we've been talking to these exchanges as they're integrating FIO. We had a great conversation with him that we recorded, and he was saying how same with Whitebit. They've hundreds of thousands of dollars. This happens, every month. This stuff goes on. But what he told me about was a side I didn't realize. He's like, every time this happens, we've got to take one of our devs, pull them off, and do what they call a recovery. Their security systems, like, it's not just like any old person can go, oh yeah, let me log into your wallet and grab your money and then transfer it to you. Like, no, that's a major serious process where they have to go in there as a developer. And he's like, guess what? That week, our sprint is now failed. We're gonna lose our development sprint because that developer who is key, it takes him 5 hours sometimes to do one recovery. And he's like, if we don't do some $80 recovery, whatever the hell it is, if we don't do it, we get eaten alive on social media, on Twitter. People like Ken Bezak saying, "We're you a bunch of thieves." And
They
they're like,
are though, because all these
this.
exchanges have to do is let me get my private key to my Ethereum address, and we don't have these problems anymore.
But then they don't control it anymore, right? I mean,
Right.
that's the challenge. It's like,
Yeah, they want the power.
But they don't need to control
Relinquish
it.
the
They
power.
only need to facilitate the trades. They don't.
the challenging part about that. Well, the challenging part about that is
they
and
can
this is
make
really
money without
unfortunate,
the
and this is like,
control.
this is the leveling up that humans have to do to play in the digital space. The challenge about that is, and this is so unfortunate, but I know it would be true based on the experience I've had in this space. You would see hundreds of thousands, probably millions of dollars being taken out of exchange because individuals don't know how to manage their own private keys correctly. If you could act, if any old blow who's like, hey, I don't even know how crypto works, but I got an exchange account, and they say, here's your private key, you better believe they're going to get owned. And it's so frustrating to say that because for 8+ years, I've been trying to teach people hardware wallets, even back when paper wallets, like trying to teach people how to do this safely. And unfortunately, it's just like most people are just not willing to level up. And there'd be so
They almost
much
don't want the
money lost on exchanges if
responsibility.
they try to do that.
Like people
But
I've
we need
talked
to do
to,
it.
almost
We
like
have to do it. We
scares
have to
them,
level
right?
What's
Yeah,
that?
you've heard people where it's like scary to some people I've talked to. They're like, oh, I don't want that response. I can lose this. And it's kind of sad that like we act like we want the control and then it gets presented to us and we reject it because it's scary,
I just
We're
think
still
about
like
all
little
the
kids,
exchanges.
mommy, daddy to take care of us.
Just think about
Yeah,
all the
no.
exchanges that are holding on to ICO coins from 2017 where, I can't tell you how many people told me they accidentally used a, Poloniex Ethereum address to receive their ICO tokens because they wanted to be able to sell them on the exchange right away. So they thought the best idea was to receive it to an exchange address. They still have yet to see those ICO tokens from 2017. So, I mean,
That's crazy.
I get that exchanges do try to work on it and whatever, but it is at the end of the day, in my opinion, theft. They're all going to be held accountable to this, 10 years from now, even. I don't know. The laws that don't exist will eventually exist and repercussions will be sown. There will be crypto reparations that these exchanges will have to pay.
It's crazy.
I think the most important
I've never
thing
thought
with
about
this
that.
is the idea that we can vote with our money. Like we can literally say, you know what? You do this type of thing. You see people complaining on Twitter because you're not, recovering funds for people. You take your money elsewhere. And that's ultimately the power that we as individuals have that most people are like, but I like the liquidity. I don't want to own my own, cryptocurrency. I want to leave it on the exchange. And I'm like, you literally gave them your money and you're hoping someday they'll give it back to you. Rule number one in crypto is not your keys, not your coin. Like just understand the risk. And if a cryptocurrency centralized exchange is not going to treat people with respect and recover those funds as they should, then take your money elsewhere. Go somewhere else. There's plenty of exchanges. And now with DeFi, it's like, other than the freaking gas fees, and we got to solve that as well. We've got some ideas and I know there's people working on second layer solutions and stuff, but ultimately, like we are getting to the point where we just don't need centralized entities anymore. And we can run these things truly autonomously on the chain itself.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean, we still have to worry about, there are, it's funny, but we still will always have those, people that we delegate the DYOR to because the majority, mainstream, the masses, they're not going to be smart enough to do their own research and read those open source smart contracts and read.
Dude, we're lazy, we're irresponsible,
and be able to say, "Oh yeah, I know how this works." No, you're just gonna have to take some smarter dude's word for it at the end of the day.
Yeah, dude. A lot of people are just like too lazy and irresponsible to handle it, and when you tell them that it's on their shoulders, they just kind of run the other way. They're like, I don't really want to be involved in that part. Let me just keep it on the exchange. Let me just use Coinbase. And I'm like,
imagine if Wells Fargo didn't give you your money back every time somebody stole your credit card information.
That's the thing. It's like they're not really examining this from a high level. They're just looking at like their responsibility.
I want to jump into a topic though real quick since we have Luke here on this, and it's something I thought about a few times. You have to renew these names, right? These domain names. So you have to kind of be on top of your P's and Q's financially with renewing FIO domain names, Unstoppable, Ethereum name service. You have to pay for it like every year or whatever. So I do kind of get like weird fucking nightmares sometimes about like people that are going to set up smart contracts with domain names for the payment addresses. And these will be, immutable forever contracts. And if they forget to, renew that Ethereum domain name, where's that money going to go? Somebody's going to buy your domain name and they're going to start receiving the payments from the smart contract. Or what if you pass away and your family doesn't know that you have these domains set up in contracts, and the way that they are receiving money to the private keys that you left them, one day they just stop receiving funds and they don't know what to do or why, and somebody squats and buys that domain and starts stealing the money from your family from receiving things. And I get really fucking scared about this.
Yeah, no, we put a lot of thought into that because we were like,
thank you so much for the super chat and the subscription, everybody. Thanks for all the love in the chat.
This particular idea is really a big deal. And we thought it through and talked it through the community early on in the days, even before we launched the chain. We're actually coming up this month is our year anniversary of mainnet launch. The 23rd will be a year anniversary. But even before that, we were thinking about this. So the way it works with the FIO address, I'm not as familiar with Unstoppable or Ethereum, how they manage this, but on FIO, if once you get past that date and you haven't renewed your address or your domain, certain features just don't work anymore. Like you try to go do something and it's like, oh, I can't map a new address. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it's like, oh, why? Oh, how come? And then it would be like, oh, okay. And then you're getting an error message saying you got to renew your domain, renew your address. But we give, if I'm not mistaken, it's 30-day window where that is the case. And then there's another 60-day window where the only thing you can do is renew it. You can't transfer it. You can't do anything. It's like basically locked.
So somebody couldn't buy it unless I was negligent for 90 days.
Yeah, like basically, if you aren't using something for 3 months, probably not that important in your life, right? Unless it's you use it for an annual thing and you just forget, and that's a very real concern. But I think when I look at that, I say there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity for somebody to build reminder services that's hooked into your phone,
that's
your email, to everything else, to be like, it's going to send you a Twitter DM, it's going to fire off a thing.
Right.
On
so
Telegram.
like the FIO wouldn't exist without crypto and blockchain. FIO wouldn't be here because it wouldn't have anything to do. So blockchain and crypto and Bitcoin, Ethereum gave FIO something to build on top of, and now it exists. FIO will definitely do that. Something will be built because FIO exists, and that reminder service or auto renewal or whatever that service may be will be like the fucking GoDaddy or whatever of domain name services. And it will only be here because people like you exist. But you're right. Exactly. The incentive to build that service is so huge, and it's inevitable. Eventually somebody will build it.
Your brainchild is going to grow up and give birth to another brainchild. And it's going to, like, that's how these things go, dude. I love it. One thing I was going to ask, like, is there a way for you guys to eventually kind of hold all those addresses in sort of like an escrow, so to speak, and they're just kind of there to be reclaimed even after the 60-day period, so that they're just kind of held up and then like given a longer extension to be released out of that?
We could. I mean, we thought about that, but it was one of those things that we also don't want to incentivize like a squatter being like, oh, I buy something and now it's locked for 2 years or whatever. And that sucks if you're that company and you're like, look, I just want to have my brand, And so there's always that counter, but it's a really interesting idea. And what I love about FIO protocol, we have something called FIPS, FIO Improvement Proposals. I think we're up to like 26 or 27 now. And so it's a full open process where anybody comes in and says, hey, here's an improvement I have. Like there's one that to this day, I don't even know who it is. Someone built this amazing FIP that you could do messaging with the way we do the FIO data. You could literally do decentralized messaging from any crypto wallet that's FIO enabled using FIO. And it was just like really nicely designed.
So they just built the protocol around the memo service. That is genius.
That's dope.
So it's now in community review and we don't even know again, who did the spec. It's just, and they created a Discord channel. They're like, here's a Discord channel if you want to chat about it. And it's such a cool idea. And we're just sitting there going, well, what do we do next? Does somebody want to build this? If somebody builds it and the community approves it and the block producers are like, this is legit, let's deploy it, then it'll live and it'll be there.
So now I can use FIO like a messenger and at fucking Luke Stokes send you an instant message.
Who knows?
Could you add something that allows you to bid for each name? So like if a company, you said that there's a stagnant one and somebody's hanging on to that name. What if like when you create your name, you can say, all right, I would be willing to depart with this for like 5 Bitcoin or something. And you can just like program that into it at the start.
I think this is where NFTs and FIO
That's where I want to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. So what I would love to see, another option you could do, so I showed you that idea we're throwing around, but also the idea is I could have, I have Stokes domain. I could have like NFT1 at Stokes. I could have individual FIO addresses for each NFT because the FIO address itself is an NFT. You can trade it, transfer it, that whole deal.
Yeah, it is a non-fungible token.
You can sign Yeah, so the Theo Justin Theo domains are NFTs, but you could actually put the NFT just like your signature. You could put it in the actual art piece. I could have Luke at Stokes or NFT1 at Stokes in the art piece. And then when somebody buys the art piece, I would literally transfer the Theo address to them, and now they control it, right? And there's so many incredible opportunities.
So now, if you have, wow, dude, you just blew my mind, because if I fucking name the piece of art with a Theo address and the name of the art is the Theo NFT within the art itself, then people could use that name of the art in smart contracts to gamify it. Holy shit.
Dude, I just got super excited.
I think we shared the same thought bubble. In that document, like you could do IoT devices. You could literally use like your little NFT viewer, right, that sits on your desk. You could have it do a Theo request to be like, hey, send me a new image, and you literally send it a new NFT, and now it's like showing up there. You could do all kinds of cool things with
you
Theo
need
requests.
to talk to Zen Vibes. I need to get you in touch with Zen Vibes ASAP.
Oh my god, dude. That could be like a crazy collaboration right there.
Yeah, have you seen Zen Vibes at all yet? The digital
I don't think
frames?
so. I don't think so.
It's zenvibes.io, and they have these digital picture frames that you need to pair and sign your MetaMask wallet in order to verify that you actually own the images that you want to display. Otherwise, just go buy a $10, digital picture frame from the dollar store or Walmart and Google $1 million fucking people, and anybody can display it. But on that picture frame, you have to own it to display it, and I love that.
I've got a friend here in Puerto Rico. He showed me an idea that he did years ago, but it was too early. This freaking amazing pendant. Think like an Apple Watch, but even better. This incredible pendant, and it's showing you a little animated NFT. And you can literally tap it to see a QR code.
Zen Vibes has that as well. It's a keychain. They have a keychain viewer for your NFT, so you can hang it on your keychain or make a necklace out of it.
That'd be so sweet. So I get all excited when I start seeing like people building stuff. There's a marketplace that one of the block producers is building for Theo, and that's moving along really well. It's making a lot of progress. There's another thing called Theo Pay. They're building a subscription system using Theo. It's so simple. It's a cron job on a server, just firing off Theo requests every month. It's like that's another thing you can't do with crypto. How do you do subscriptions?
Tokenhead.io. If you're, and right now it's only for like wax and stuff. I think they're going to get into the EOS side of the NFTs as well.
Ken has over 200K on there.
I've been seeing your tweets. You're like, I've got a boner all day long. Dude, I've been seeing your messages. Your value goes from 100 grand to 150 grand to 200 grand. I'm like, you get it, Ken. You get it. You go.
It's so crazy.
I'm just playing with my toys, dude. Like, so much more fun than 2017, 2018 shitcoin fucking shit. Like, it's so much harder to part with my NFTs than it is with those shitcoins. So it's actually helping me hold instead of just like, keep like I was just swapping and trading and playing with shitcoins. Now I'm just like collecting, and it's a different way of playing with NFTs. I don't really sell as much as I'll trade. Like, hey, I have 2 of these NFTs. You got the one I don't have. You want to trade? Instead of me selling one to then go and buy the other. I mean, why do all that?
Dude, I got a new favorite NFT last night from, thank you, Crypto Stash, by the way.
Oh my God. You like that?
That's my new favorite NFT.
Hey, Luke, check this out. Yeah, tell Luke a little bit about that.
So
can you share your screen? Can I see it? I'd love to see it.
So Ken and David Goldstein had a little interaction on Twitter, and he was essentially explaining to Ken that you couldn't NFT and sell his tweets. And if you tried, I saw this. Yeah. And he was basically, Ken was like, you can't reinforce that statement. And he was like, I can. And so Crypto Stash NFT that exchange there. And just to prove him wrong, and just said David was wrong. ... And I think it was like the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So that relates to like the guys who like sell the NFTs on that NFT or on that Twitter NFT thing, and then they delete the tweet, and you get this thing.
So they won't be able to see this, but you will, because the chat can't see this right now. But I just wanted to give you a shot at looking at it.
Look at this beauty.
This tweet is
that's awesome.
You don't have the power to enforce this statement. Yes, I do. David was wrong.
Oh my God.
And there's 1,000 of them. I love that. You didn't just do like 10 of them. You're like, I'm going to do 1,000 of them.
Well, this was Crypto Stash. I actually posted the tweet in my Telegram, and I was just like, all right, I'll let one of the bros like, prove this dude wrong.
That's awesome.
So the Stash had a few
I thought that was yours because I saw your tweet.
The Stash had a few pints and was like, let me get after this dude and show him like how NFTs really work. So
Did you guys? Okay. Did you see when I tweeted that we were going to go live? Somebody replied, and I've got it here if you want me to share my screen. But somebody went live with this OpenSea collector pulls the rug, and they literally swapped out the image with rug.
I saw that. Yeah, it was a rug pull. And that could actually accidentally happen. I've touched on this too, where people that aren't using IPFS and are using different servers for their images, they could accidentally rug pull you. You know, your favorite artist may not be tech savvy enough to know how to, you know, future-proof their NFTs. So they might be using a server like, you know, Tiny Images or something, right? And if that server host stops hosting that image, when you go to look at your NFT, you'll have the token, but you will not see that image anymore because the API that's being used to call in that image hash has nothing to represent that hash anymore. It's gone. So what that person did, in my opinion, was actually amazing.
It was a service.
Great. It was a service, exactly. It was letting people know, like, hey, man, you might want to do a little bit more research before you buy a Beeple NFT for $69 million, because that people could have done the same shit.
He could have done it just to make an example.
I hope Banksy does.
Banksy did the one that burned itself, but it wasn't that one. Remember the one?
Did it,
no,
though,
I'm talking the one that dropped it. He had one that dropped it into a paper shredder like a few years back, and that's like what it would be cool. Like that's what we're gonna see with a couple artists now for sure.
Yeah.
The thing with the Banksy recently that I don't like is he didn't have anything to do with the burning of that. It was a protocol that bought it, burned it. Yeah, they bought it for like 90 grand. Took a picture and FT'd it and then burned it. Yeah. And it was like kind of like a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with Banksy who created it. So technically they
that's what I don't like.
Some person's art and that's it.
Yeah, they destroyed somebody's work.
And now they have a picture of it. But if that NFT does hear me. All right, how do I say this? I would never buy an NFT of the Mona Lisa because I know that who was it? Picasso, Da Vinci, who made that? I don't know artists. I'm so bad at this.
Keep going.
Da Vinci?
You already hit it.
Picasso, Monet.
It was
and
the
that's
bench.
it. I know like 3 names. I'm so happy.
I just wanted to see how many artists that
I know Monet, Picasso, and Da Vinci.
You know the irony is that you are helping promote so many like current artists, and you know so many from like now.
They're the ones I care about, but that's why I will never buy one of their.
That's the point of this.
They're dead. Those NFTs aren't from them. It's not their art.
What if the museum that owns it, like what if the Smithsonian made like a one of one NFT of everything? Does it even? Do you care?
No, I don't. I mean, some people, yeah, they might, but I truly wouldn't give a shit unless I know that public address that's linked to that contract address that I bought that art from physically had something to do with that artist, like their mouse and keyboarding. That's the difference, right? So like, for me, kind of, I would never buy that Banksy NFT because that is, to me, it's a counterfeit at this point.
It is. That was my point of bringing up.
It's one of the most official counterfeits that were ever made.
Yeah,
that's a super interesting perspective because it's like, again, most people don't get the tech, right? It's way too low level. They never thought about, how many pinning servers do you have in your IPFS nodes to be able to make sure that thing's going to stick around. Just this past week, and this is actually, okay, I'm gonna do a little dad moment here. I'm 42. I've got 3 kids. They're 11, 9, and 7. They got hired to put together NFT collections on Atomic Hub Wax, OpenSea, and Rarible for Xavier Hawk. He does this baseline show. They put 80 something of his shows up on Atomic Hub. They did a bunch of his original art on Rarible and OpenSea. They got paid, and they literally we're going to build a company called NFT Builders. My 11-year-old and my 9-year-old, they're literally creating NFT collections for people.
That's so great.
So freaking badass. I'm so proud of them. It's so awesome. So they're like, this is what they did for school this whole week. It's like putting together their invoice, learning how to use a spreadsheet. So they're like keeping track of all the transactions and all the gas fees they had to pay. Like super, super awesome, right? And I'm thinking about this and I'm like, this is the future. These kids are going to, drive the future and understand how all this works. But they're also like, oh, dad, I need a credit card. I'm like, wait, what? I need a credit card because this Pinata IPFS server, we used up all the space for the free account. And I'm like, wow, what happens if we stop paying?
Wait, they're ahead of me already because I haven't run out of free room yet. So holy crap.
They're doing videos. They did 80 something NFT videos for
that's insane,
so
dude.
They ran out of space.
They're moving faster than me.
these kids are gonna like. That's the thing. Big businesses are about to have their lunches eaten by a
I'm
bunch
so
of like
busy,
up and
of
coming
course they
kids.
have-
It's 11-year-old,
Dude,
9-year-old
oh my
kids. They're like, we
Love
can
it.
do this, and they're like,
So-
they're watching YouTube videos. They're like, Dad, I already figured it out. Here it is. I'm like, you go.
So they're using
daughter
Pinata
is
right now to
Theo's one.
host it.
What's that?
They're using Pinata for hosting on ITFS.
That's the one they found. They did
Yeah,
the research.
same
They're like,
one.
this is the one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
the
use
same
Pinata
one.
too.
Yeah, I
So
love
it's-
it.
I didn't know
So-
about it when I started though. So like there's probably one or two rug pull love is the answer ones out there from like right at the beginning when I didn't, like you said, a lot of people aren't tech savvy when they start. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot of things. I'm glad that you talk about that a lot because that's like one of the first things I mentioned to artists, like the one that we had on the other day. I think it was Cledia or who is
Yeah.
this? She, we were telling her about IPFS, or I think she had used it ahead of time. And she's like one of the first ones that I met that like was new to this space and actually went that route like right away. And I was like super proud of that. I was like,
Well,
all
I
right,
think
cool.
the tools, that's why the tools are so important, right? Like the
Yes.
Atomic Hub tooling is like, hey, this is how you do it. And my hope with
Yeah, it prompts you to do it correctly.
Yeah, like forget about the 2.5% of innovators that are in crypto today. Let's look at the 12.5% that are coming as early adopters. When they come in, if their crypto experience just right away is like, here's your FIO address, here's how you do a FIO request, here's how you manage your private keys, with a hardware device or something like that. If they just come into this right away and they're like, oh, okay, this is how you do crypto, they're going to be doing it better than people that have been in it for years, who are super confused and they're just like, they're sending people unencrypted QR codes or they're texting people a Bitcoin address and they're like, dude, that's a key exchange. You don't just give someone your public key and hope that they got the right one. And then, doing all these stupid test sends and you're spending like $10 on fees just to do a test send. It's like stupid. Whereas if we just train people from the beginning, the best, the interfaces, the wallets, the exchanges, and everybody coming after that, all the crypto enabled gaming platforms, NFT platforms, DeFi platforms, if they just say, hey, let's give them the best experience possible with the human readable address and the whole ability to be like, I don't have to look at public keys anymore. Then that's going to be their norm. That's going to be like, and the early FIO address they get is going to be like their AOL account.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's people that still use
My,
AOL email address.
my
Like 30
very-
years later,
My very
I still have a
first
Yahoo.
AOL username email account is my bird is small.
What the fuck?
And
Why?
I was because I was in like 5th grade at the time, and every time anybody ever asked me what my username for AOL Instant Messenger was, I got to tell them my bird is small.
That's nice.
Mine
At
was-
least you're having fun.
mine was
That was
Skywalk.
10-year-old Kenny. Like I don't know what to tell you.
I was
Hit me.
Skywalk 999 because I remember I wanted Skywalker.
All right.
And I thought I put a 9 at the end. It was like, oh, Skywalker's taken. How about Skywalker 9? I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. And I just saved. And then it was like, Skywalk? What is the Skywalk? I want Skywalker. Come
Oh,
on.
wow.
That's the thing. Like a lot of us had to be creative, and it led to a new way of essentially writing things because of internet naming, like domain naming and like screen naming and stuff like
Oh,
that.
everybody cool had a lowercase x and a capital X before their username
Yeah.
and after their username.
Yeah, like the internet gave birth to a whole nother way, not just allowing us to communicate, but like new languages evolved within communities. It's really interesting. And that's the other thing. Like he was talking
Well,
about
yeah, it was
his kids
digital
starting this business,
hieroglyphics.
basically. Like it's going to be children that are creating the next Mona Lisa and becoming the next
Absolutely.
Leonardo da
Absolutely.
Vinci.
And this is what I wanted to get to real quick to kind of wrap things up since we only have a few more minutes is, those Christie's is never going to give a 9 or 11-year-old the opportunity. Just won't happen. Christie's,
Right.
no, get the fuck out of here. You're a kid. Even if a kid wanted to be like a drop shipper at 11 years old and work on eBay and Amazon, nope, can't do it. But now a 9 and 11-year-old are out there creating art, NFTs, selling them, and probably making more money than somebody who's working a 9 to 5 at McDonald's right now. That's the shit that's blowing my mind, right? And I wonder, how you see this, because I don't really have kids or anything, but like this is definitely my goal, is to incriminate all the children. I want kids making their own ICOs. I want kids making their own DEXs and DeFis, because the more children that do this, the safer we are. Like literally, we're going to be using kids as shields
I
technologically.
was just going to say that.
You know, and we've done this before. I mean, look what Metallica did with Napster and all the children they tried to sue, and then it fell onto the parents. The parents were liable for how the kids used the internet, and that changed everything. The moment
and now Lars
more
Ulrich
people kept fucking nobody likes Metallica. You get a fucking dick, dude. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know? But the thing is, though, so many kids still did it that they couldn't enforce it anymore, to the point where I downloaded The Mandalorian and I don't even pay for Disney, and I haven't had my door kicked in. And it's because of the children that just keep pirating shit. It can't be enforced upon them. We get children making NFTs and making six figures and not paying taxes on it at 8 years old, 9 years old. Then I don't have to pay taxes on it anymore. You know, it's like, this is, if they can no longer enforce their unnecessary laws and rules, then they no longer apply. And they don't look unnecessary. They don't look ridiculous until you try to apply it to a fucking 9-year-old who's selling pictures and doodles from iPads. And, they didn't pay their taxes, so Luke has to go to prison? No. All that will change because...
So to put it another way, without self-incriminating, the way to think about it is, these laws, they're just threats of violence, ceremoniously written down, right? And essentially they have legitimacy, and that word even deals with law. They have, relevancy in the community because people, believe it's, the consent of the governed kind of concept. But essentially, when you peel that back and you're like, wait a minute, you're like going to take a kid or whoever that's harming no one, providing a valuable service that people want, and you're going to say that they have to follow certain rules that don't make any sense and then go fund war with your taxation system. Like, why don't they go fund things that they want to fund? And then they start, building DACs and DAOs, decentralized autonomous communities and consortia. I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Max. He's going live in a few minutes with DACathon. This whole week they're doing, or next week they're doing this whole DACathon thing. We're building DACs, we're building DAOs. This whole one is going to be on NFTs and gaming and stuff. And it's like, that's the future. We're going to build systems that don't need violence because they have built-in governance. They have actually a mechanism for a community to come together and agree.
For a while, Luke, where we're going, laws have no power. We are only going to acknowledge protocols. Protocols will replace laws, and that's the end of it. You can't enforce your laws when you can't, reprimand somebody that's synonymous or even anonymous, right? You can't get Satoshi Nakamoto in jail for creating Bitcoin because it's a competition to the US dollar as a currency system. So because they can't enforce that, they don't. Now,
we're part of the great socioeconomic flash mob of the new generation. Like, there's too many of us, and I think that's the idea. Just there's too many of us to stop.
We're financial flash mobbing, fucking literally. Look what happened with
seriously make an NFT. We're part of the great socioeconomic flash mob. That was fucking beautiful. I love that.
I've been trying to get that little phrase going. Socioeconomic flash mob. So I'm glad you like it.
Put it on a T-shirt if it fits.
Maybe I'll do that because I already have ones that say existence is futile instead of resistance is futile. So maybe I'll just add this to the collection.
I am, therefore I am.
Ooh, I am, therefore I don't exist.
Right, exactly. Pretty damn much, bro. So I guess to let everybody in the chat know, how can they get more involved with Theo? Where can they get involved with the community?
Yes.
Discords, Telegrams, let people know where to get in touch with you and stuff, bro.
Please. Super appreciate that. Again, thank you, Ken, for being such a big fan. Really, really appreciate it. Again, you're someone that sees the future, and you've been really adamant about saying, hey, guys, this is the future. You can find us at FIO Protocol.io. That's FIO Protocol.io. And if you do FIO Protocol.io/chat, that's the quickest way to get to our Discord. We do have a Telegram, but it's like most of the team is in the Discord. And on Twitter, join FIO. That's our Twitter account. As for me, I'm at Luke Stokes on Twitter and Telegram, and we've got a DAC. So if you've got a way to add value to the community, you can fill out a worker proposal and say, hey, I'd like to do this. If it adds this much value, you can pay me in this. And we have a steering committee, people that can evaluate these. And so, if you want to come help and build this thing, because it's not like there's no central company that's controlling everything. It's a decentralized blockchain. There are community treasury funds that the board, myself, and the steering committee try to manage for the best use of the community. But ultimately, it's block producers are doing what they're going to do. The protocol is going to do what it's going to do. But we do have a way to pay people to keep making it awesome. So come join us, check it out. Check out what we're doing. You can get a free address at our website as well on a number of different wallets. a promotion. We have a set of tokens that are locked just for FIO address giveaways. So that's like happening right now. You can go get like, Luke at Edge or whatever you want to get. And let's have this conversation about NFTs. If you're an NFT artist, come talk to us and figure out like, how can we get you your own FIO address? We can secure your collection with different FIO addresses or FIO domains. So that way you can be really confident and you could say, hey, if you go on the Block Explorer and you put in my FIO address and you don't see the Ethereum address that you're seeing in Rarible or OpenSea or whatever, like it's not freaking mine, right? Like those are the type of things we want to teach people, like human readable address. How to make this simple for people.
With FIO,
I need help, man.
With FIO, you can whitelist yourself. That's the cool thing. You can whitelist and verify you don't need Rarible verification anymore.
I was just going to say,
you don't need Atomic Hub whitelisting. You can do these things yourself. And it starts with that. So, hey, Senor Lupe, I see you in the chat. I want to see Senor at Lupe by the end of today.
Thank you, dude. I love that dude, too. This is the interoperability of that. Like, it's just like, I don't know, dude. I love this thing, dude. It's the interoperability for verification. Yep. Like, this makes it so that you don't have to wait like 5 months to hear back from the platform. Like, you can essentially self-verify across the board.
And I think the key part is you can have collections on multiple chains. You've got EOS collection, you've got a Wax collection, you've got an Ethereum collection. Yep. You better believe people are already doing, and Ravencoin's been doing NFTs for a long time. Like all these different platforms, right? Even BitShares had these like different weird, different tokens and stuff. It's like all these different platforms are going to definitely get in on this game. And as an artist, if you don't have a single way to be like, I play nice with everybody, then what are you going to do? And I think that's what FIO Protocol is working to be. And again, I super appreciate you guys. I appreciate your community.
You're amazing.
Help this idea makes sense. Like, come help us build it. Let's talk about it.
All right, bros. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, have a day.
Have a day. We love you.
Peace.
Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Ken Bozak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Ken Bozak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. Cause I'm Ken bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Ken Bozak.